I am going to be doing an unboxing later, but I got 4 books from Bindery, and this is their Bindery Book Spring Collection of 2025. I got number 40 of 60, which made me really happy. It's nice to know how many books, or like how many people got the books, which is really, really dope. So this is going to be my review of the Unmapping. I already finished it. I finished it within 3 days. This was a 3 out of 5 for me. I thoroughly enjoyed the premise of the book, and there was a few storylines that I deeply was like invested in and I needed to know. So this is about a city that moves around out of nowhere at 4 a.m. one day, and every day at 4 a.m. it continues to move around, and it creates a boatload of issues. Of course, with like gas pipes like breaking and then explosions happening because of the gas leaks, and people not being able to find their loved ones, people getting trapped in certain buildings. It was truly an interesting read at the very beginning, and then I feel halfway through the book I was kind of like, I was losing it trying to get to the ending of the book, and then I was like, this one was just not for me. The pacing was really slow. It was really, really slow. I enjoyed a few main characters. I enjoyed following the emergency responder. The very first one that you follow is Esme, and Esme is dealing with having to try to find her husband who has gone missing in the unmapping with the city moving around, but also dealing with her emergency responder job of having to help other people when she needs to be able to help herself. And this book had 2 different meanings to it. At the end of the day, this book says that if you do not change in life, then life will change you. You will be forced to change. The unexpected is going to happen. The same way that the city moves around, your life is going to get shifted. It's not going to stay the same. It's not going to be for your comfort. It's going to be for your discomfort so that you can find a better life for yourself. And that's just the way that life works. But then there is the same sentiment to it where the dual meaning behind it is that if we continue as human beings with not taking care of the planet, then climate change is going to get really bad, and we're comfortable with the way that we're living now, but eventually life will force us to change, and we will be forced to adapt, and we will be forced out of our environments that are really, really comfortable. So I love the messaging that this book had. And it had like a third message too, where through community, human beings can be really resilient, and they can be resilient like an anthill, and ants can get washed away by storms, but then they just rebuild and rebuild and rebuild. And humans are much the same way, where much like ants rebuilding, we can rebuild society. And though some people may be lost, and like we may, not all of us are going to survive catastrophe, we're very resilient human race where we can continue to rebuild and we can do better the next time. So I absolutely love that about this book. That was my love for this book. I think the premise was really interesting. There was a few things that I did want expanded upon, and that was definitely like how the city moved around. And there was, whenever it would come up, I was like, this is really interesting. This is really interesting. But there's a few stories in here that I was just like, and anytime the main character Arjun came on the page, I kind of got very frustrated, because if you remember 500 Days of Summer, the movie, or if you've watched it and you know the main character, how he's the quote unquote nice guy, and he thinks he deserves the girl because he's the nice guy. And you know, the nice guy trope where it's like, well, he's the nice guy and he does nice things for the nice girl. So eventually, sometimes the nice guy ends up getting the girl just because he's the nice guy, not because he does anything over the top or extraordinary. It's just he's the nice guy. So he thinks he deserves Esme, and even though she's in a committed relationship, he's still like lurking, and he's like, well, I think I deserve you, kind of thing. And he brings that weird attitude the whole book. And finally, like, it at one point they do address it, and Esme is like, hey, I had a fiance that entire time that you had a crush on me. What did you expect of me? Did you expect of me to be unfaithful? Did you expect me to just leave my fiance? Like, what was going through that noggin? You know what I mean? So I'm glad that they did address it, but there was just a lot in this book that was not for me. The way that I would describe this is, think Christopher Nolan wrote a fanfic of The Day After Tomorrow, and it was edited by Frederick Bachman. The writing style that Frederick Bachman had reminded me of the writing style in this book, where there are pages and pages and pages of just droning on and people talking, and it's just, some of it means something, and then some of it it's just like, fuck, man, this is, a lot of this could have been cut. I think out of this story, it could have been whittled down a little bit more. It didn't necessarily have to be this long. I did find the premise interesting, but this was rough for me. This was definitely a rough read for me. And by the end of it, I felt a little dead inside, and I did not like it. This wasn't for me. Maybe it's going to be for you. Maybe somebody else would like this. This is definitely, like, for me, great premise, poor execution. And I don't know, maybe it just wasn't for me. Maybe somebody else will find this. They'll pick it up and they'll be like, this is my next 5-star read. But for me, it's not it. It did keep me entertained, but the pacing was just weird. Pacing was really weird. And some of the pages droned on. And I feel like we didn't necessarily need to follow Arjun. I feel like it could have been through a different character's perspective, and it would have been for a more enjoyable read. And a lot of these characters were very unlikable, and like, I understand when an author makes characters that are unlikable, like, not everybody is going to be likable. You're not going to like everybody, but it's just, a lot of the main characters were unlikable. A lot of the main characters were unlikable. Anyway, that's my review for this one. I am going to be reading the rest of these as well. I eventually want to get to Of Monsters and Mainframes. This has been on my list for a minute. I am excited to also read Crueler Mercies. This is supposed to be like a sapphic fantasy. And then I'm also excited for this one. I've seen artwork of it, so I'm excited to read this. This one and this one. This one has been compared to Murderbot Diaries, and I love me my Murderbot. So hopefully it lives up to the Murderbot name. I think this one might be my next read within these 4 books. I am so happy for Bindery sending me this. I was not expecting to get approved for it, but I was like, oh, I got approved for it. But yeah, I'm so excited. This one I was more excited to finish, just to get it over with. But I was excited to read this one. I was so excited. And now I'm kind of disappointed that I didn't love this story. Maybe it's going to be for somebody else. But I will continue to update you guys on my box set reading of these Bindery books. Anyway, have a good day, everybody.